Before I start my demonstration today, I want you to know that I'm going to give you a few examples. Some of these examples you may need, some of them you may not need. So, if I'm going too fast, I need you to touch or use your mouse to stop the video. It'll stop, you can catch up. If it went too far ahead, see this red bar down here? You can just take that red bar and move it back a little bit, and it will rewind. If you need to fast forward, that means, oh, this is not what I want to look at. I want to see something else. You just need to take that line and make it go forward a little bit. Okay? So, at any time when you need to continue playing the video, just push the picture or use your mouse to push the picture and it will continue. Some of you may need it to get larger, and I believe there is a symbol that looks kind of like a box or something over here right next to this, and that's going to make it larger. Okay, so that's just how your videos work. Now, it's time to get ready. You're going to need a water cup, a paintbrush, and your paint, and your drawing from last week. If you don't have that, let's make a new one. If you need to, go back to week 23 and follow the directions. This is already worked on. The back is worked on. Well, that's okay. I can dip in my water, swoop it up, and I can paint my robot. I'm going to paint them yellow, 1, 2, 3 in here, and I'm going to go in one direction. I'm going to paint towards me, and I notice that a lot of times yellow, sometimes you need to go straight into the paint. I'm going to tippy toe dip in the water and dip 1, 2, 3 in there and paint towards me. Notice how I turn my paper. And I'm going to continue doing this. Now this is just the regular painting technique. And I'm going to paint my robot or my invention that I created. Now, maybe you already colored your invention. So I'm going to show you how to do that. In this picture, I would finish coloring or painting my robot and maybe do the moon if I need to. I'm going to put that aside for right now. And here's my next picture. Now I'm changing my colors, so I'm going to go in here 10 times. And very quickly, it's really important that when you draw, if you decide to add extra on here, you use a pencil or a crayon. Using a pen will eventually bleed when you add water to it. And you might see that in a few of my drawings. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in the background so that I have some things maybe to paint. I'm going to add some trees. Make it a little bit interesting. And that way too, by adding some trees, I'm not using as much of my blue paint. So I added some trees here, and you'll notice that I'm going to go in my water 10 times and swoop it up. And then I'm going to go into, let's do my green. I'm going to do my trees, and I'm going to go dipping right in here, tippy toe dip, swoop, and I'm painting my trees. And notice how I'm going towards me again. And I'm going super fast, boys and girls. I'd like you to take your time. Again, I'm going fast because I'm not sure when my video is going to run out of juice. It will sometimes cut off randomly, and then I have to redo my entire video. You know, a lot of fun. We teachers, we get it all. You know, somebody's got to mess with us. We miss you guys. So the computers do it for us. Alright, so I did some trees, and now I'm going to show you. I can do the sky, but I want my trees to dry a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come down to my ground here, and I'm going to just paint with my water, just a little section with my water, and you might not be able to see that, sorry guys. And I just made it wet. Now I'm going to put my black on here, and it kind of spreads out. And I'm going to put some more water. There's a little bit of black in my brush, so it's turning gray. And I add some black, and notice how it just spreads out. And again, some water. This is called the wet and wet technique. Again, I'm pulling my paintbrush towards me. I never push away from it, or the hairs are going to go apart and it's going to scream. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to put this aside, and then again I would finish doing the sky. The blue sky is going to come from the tippy top all the way down until when it gets to that ground, okay? But we're putting that aside because I need to show you some other things. Maybe you already started coloring, but not everything is finished. My suggestion is to do any of the little stuff. You might want to color those in with crayons. Now, I'm just worried about this. I didn't color super well, so I have some white spots. So I want to play around with it. Maybe I'm going to use a blue over top of it, or maybe I want it to be a different color. Let's see. Ooh, you guys don't have purple, so I shouldn't use purple. But I have a purple here, so it's like a lavender color. So I'm just painting over top of it. And the reason I'm doing this is so that you can see what happens. That my purple color goes over top of this. It doesn't mix with the blue because the blue crayon, or in this case it's actually a color pencil, the blue color pencil pushes it away. So I can see both the blue and the violet, or the purple, the lavender color, which is kind of cool. So you can, paint around it, or you can paint over top of it. If you don't like that, let's see, I'm going to rinse out 10 times. You can use blue right over top. Alright, and again I'm going to put that aside, and I would finish all of these, but remember you only had to do one. I'm just showing you a lot of examples. Now this one, just like I said with the refrigerator, you need to maybe color all those tiny spots in with a crayon or color pencil. Please don't use a marker, and I'm going to show you why next. Because if you use crayons here, then you don't have to get into these teeny tiny spots. Now I'm going to make my robot mostly blue. And if you notice, I'm using my alligator grips like that, and I'm painting towards me. Now I can go over top of these colors. I'm going to tippy toe dip, swoop up, tippy toe dip. And if it gets a little too dark, that just means you need to add a little bit more water. In my case, I'm just spreading it out as best I can. And I can go right over top of these. And there we go. But you'll notice that if I'm not careful, I'll get into those other spaces. Me, that's fine. I want all of him blue. So I'm just going to paint him blue around those colors. And I'm going to continue doing that until I'm all done painting him. And if I want to add a background, I can do that. But again, I don't want to waste your time. Your time is very valuable, and you need to get painting yourself. So I'm going to show you the last demonstration. And, oh, I have to say this in the beginning. So let me show you the last demonstration. Okay, again, I wash this out 10 times. Now, you'll notice that this one here already has marker on it. I'm going to take a wet paintbrush. I didn't use any of that. And this marker is water soluble. That means it's not a Sharpie. Okay? And notice when I go over this, if any of you have ever gotten one of those books that you just add water to and the paint just kind of appears, that's what this is. Just make sure you don't go over one spot too much, or you will get a hole in it. So there you go. Now, if you don't believe me, because I mixed that a little bit, I'm going to paint right over top of the hood of the car, and you'll see that places that didn't have red in it now have red. It's a lighter red, but it's there. And again, I am just using water and spreading that out. Okay, so there you go. And the last way is just like we've done before, where we are simply going to paint this. There's no crayon on it. That's beautiful. My suggestion to you is, if you're not using a crayon, go ahead and do all your small spaces first. All right, I'm kind of working around here. You can just stay in one spot at a time. Notice that I haven't changed my color. I just want to continue using that green as much as I can before it wipes out. Little dot here, little dot here, and then I'm going to come in here 10 times. And I'm going to get another color. Now this color, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to do it right next to the green, but I am going to do my blue. Let's do the triangles. Oh, there's not a triangle over here. We'll make the square blue. All right, and I did rectangles there, so I'm going to do rectangles here, rectangle here, and needs a little bit more blue. Tippy toe dip in the water, little bit of blue. And there you go. Rinse this out and pick another color. I'm going to do yellow. Let's do spots that aren't touching right now. Soon we are going to do spots that touch, but hopefully we gave it a little bit of time. Now this looks pretty dry, so I'm going to add some yellow here. And I'm kind of careful. And yeah, tippy toe dip, a little bit of yellow. And again, as I said, I would continue painting this entire picture, but I want you guys to get working, so I'm going to stop. Thank you so much for joining me.